We are Gathering of the Geeks, podcast and YouTube show built around the things we as geeks all love. Hashtag we gather on Sundays. Thank you for checking out the one with No More Succession, Lasso, or Barry, part 2. I'm one of your hosts, Emmet, and I'm joined by the Ted Lasso to my coach Beard, Chris Evans. Chris, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
What'd you drop?
Oh, my Funko Pop. It's fine.
I'm always scared that I'm just going to spill my water like all over my keyboard and just like sparks are going to come flying out of everything. And
I did that once.
That'll be at the end. Yeah. Really?
Yeah, we just kept going on though. I never said anything about it.
Just praying that your computer wouldn't shut down after spilling water all over it.
If it does, it does.
That's true. Gathering of the Geeks is available on YouTube wherever you get your podcasts. Just search Gathering of the Geeks and you will find us. What's up to Eric, Phil, Cookie already on this fine Sunday evening? Zeddy, how is it going? If you're watching a show, Chris, or a movie, do you want it set in the real world or in a fantasy world? So I'm watching. So I'm watching The Intern last night, and it's got Robert De Niro and Anne Hathaway. Absolutely outstanding movie. First time I had seen it. But they're talking. There's a scene where they're going to a house to break into it to steal Anne Hathaway's mom's computer. And they're talking about Ocean's 11. They're talking about Brad Pitt. They're talking about George Clooney. But it's Robert De Niro in the car. Like, what do you think about that? Where do you want your movies and TV shows set? Fantasyland? Or like if you take it to like the superhero world, DC has Gotham City and Metropolis, but Marvel, the New York and real cities. What do you think?
I think it depends on the movie. Because as much fun as it would be for like Bruce Wayne to tell Alfred he watched The Hangover, while he was waiting for the Joker to rob a bank, I think that'd be a golden moment. Him commenting on The Hangover, but I don't need it. I don't know if I want it. But when it comes to a movie like the one you mentioned, I haven't seen it either. But I like the idea of the world existing around them. I think that is cool, and it makes it a little bit more immersive, especially if you agree with what they're saying about said product,
sure,
or something like that. So I think I like that.
So in that sense, does Robert De Niro exist in that universe?
You ever seen the movie Last Action Hero?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so that's kind of where I think things work.
So instead of Robert De Niro, it's Al Pacino or something?
Right.
Instead of Arnold Schwarzenegger, it's Sylvester Stallone?
Exactly. Right. That's kind of what I think. Like Scent of a Woman was probably done with, Willem Dafoe.
Yeah, I was going to say Harvey Keitel, yeah.
Yeah, it's different. It's
gotcha.
Same, but different.
Same, but different. Man, Last Action Hero. Deep cut that one is.
The best cut. I actually read something, I think it was today, that Arnold Schwarzenegger was so depressed about it flopping, he was like crying in his bed afterward.
Damn.
And I just wanted to like go back in time and say, Arnold, it's okay. I love that movie as a child.
I love that movie too. And I always think about the opening scene where like the killer's got those kids up on the roof.
Blue Ripper, yeah.
Yeah, and like, but that's pretty edgy stuff. And then like, I have a fear of like home invasion stuff. Like I have a hard time with home invasion movies. And when that kid's left at home alone, and that guy breaks into his, or the guy like goes by I can't remember if he's at his apartment and his mom's gone to work, and like the guy breaks into the apartment because like the guy goes past the door and then he locks it, and that movie's like it freaks me out sometimes. Well, that movie.
It's a product of the bygone era, if you will, because like in the 80s, the action films were really dark, but nobody cared. Like, oh, that guy's head just got cut off. This is amazing and funny at the same time.
That's right.
And then as we got away from that, the tone was either one or the other. It's either a very serious action film or it's Last Action Hero. It just kind of depends. But I think that's one of the things that is so clever about Last Action Hero, because the title is accurate. We didn't get movies like that anymore after that fact. It's a gem. I really do love that movie. And fun fact, Tom Noonan plays the Ripper, is also Frankenstein from the Monster Squad. And when I met him at Comic-Con, he was just so lost. Bless him. Never meet your hero.
That's great.
But watch Last Action Hero every chance you get because it's awesome.
I do like that movie.
Jack Slater. I would watch a Jack Slater movie.
Jack Slater. Yeah, for sure. That's what Arnold should do now. Now that he's back doing that FUBAR for Netflix, he should do it like a revival.
They should do like a multiverse movie with Jack Slater and Turbo Man. I'd watch it.
All right, now you're just being ridiculous.
Am I? I watched Fast X last night. I don't think I am.
Oh, sweet Jesus! All right, let's get to what we watched and what we read for the last week. Then, Chris, what'd you get up to?
So as far as the watching goes, I was really busy this week. I only got to a couple things. Mm-hmm. When I say a couple things, I just finished Barry and Fast X. That's all I watched.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to watch other things. Like I've been meaning to get to John Wick, but I just haven't had the time. And then it came down, like last night, I was like, okay, I can watch John Wick 4 or I can watch Fast X. I'm already tired.
Okay, that's fair.
John Wick 4 probably has a story. Fast X is what it is. So I went with that. And I did finish World Tree as far as reading goes.
Mm-hmm.
So that was very interesting. You want to talk about World Tree?
Yeah, I want to talk about Fast X for a minute, though.
Okay.
It came out in theaters, and then poof, 3 weeks. I think it's been 3 weeks, and it's on streaming or what? It's not streaming, but available for purchase now.
You could rent it or buy it digitally.
Right. So, Fast X. Pillsbury Doughman, friggin' Jason Momoa, crazy stupid action. Well, what'd you think?
He doesn't look that strange in the movie.
Something wrong with those trailers, then.
The trailers, yeah, I don't know. I guess because you're more focused on him, but in the movie, he looks more like Jason Momoa. But it's one of those cases where I don't know what movie Jason Momoa thought he was in. Because he is wildly entertaining. Like he's the best thing in the movie. Him and John Cena are the.
That's just wild. That's crazy to me. That's a real thing.
It's a very real thing. They are the best in the movies. In this movie, but Jason Momoa is just like he kind of reminded like the Joker, but in the weirdest way. Like if you were to take Cesar Romero's Joker and drop him in the Batman, that's what this is. That's the best way to explain it. He is just off the wall crazy. It's really fun though. That he is anyway. And then something just like cringy, as is with Fast and Furious.
Yes.
The plot probably could have been handled in a 90-minute movie, but instead we're going to have two of these.
There's two more this one after this, right?
Yeah, there's going to be like a bridge between them and then a finale. I was excited for the movie and I'm glad I watched it, but man, these it's time to go.
Time to wrap it up there, Vin.
It is time to. I'm going to talk about this one specific scene. I'm not going to give the context. I don't want to spoil it for anybody who does want to watch it. But I thought we were at a ridiculous point when Vin Diesel smashed a parking garage by stomping. Mm-hmm. In this one, two scenes I want to talk about, actually. He shields people from a bomb by driving in front of the fire. And it's not just like... I think it's in the trailer. But the other thing was he lifts a car. He flips a car with one arm. One arm. He's not the Hulk. Nice. He's not even Batman, but one arm just flips it. Of course, he struggles to do it, but still.
He grunts a bit.
Right. He's struggling with the one arm, but he flips a Mustang.
A bead of sweat rolls down his forehead.
Yeah. Yeah. Just a small bead. Barely any salt in it.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you watched it, Chris.
I'm glad I watched it.
That makes me happy.
It's an experience. Mm-hmm. But see, at this point, just let some dinosaurs run around, bring a Transformer in. Mm-hmm. What do we got to lose?
I wonder if that Transformers thing's actually going to happen or not.
What Transformers thing?
Well, I thought they were talking about that like forever ago, that they were eventually that was going to be a thing. There was going to be a crossover.
Oh, I thought it was Jurassic Park.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, my bad.
It was Jurassic Park. Yeah, no, I think that was just something they threw in the air. Let's see what people say about it.
Well, why not? Like, why not at this point? Just like You're spending $300 million to make these movies. Like, just make it as ridiculous as possible.
Yeah, but at the same time, like I feel like it would end with Vin Diesel punching a dinosaur and killing it. And I don't know if I want to see that.
Just punching Blue in the head.
Not even Blue, like a big dinosaur. Like I'd imagine something like the Indominus Rex. He does like this thing where he's like driving, hits a ramp, and as he's passing by, he just hits it in the face with his fist, not the car. The Indominus Rex just dies. That'd be my guess.
Yeah, that would be something. Well, now you got to watch John Wick 4 now then.
Yeah, now I will. I've had the fill of ridiculousness. He's not the Hulk. He is Groot. Yeah, he's very prideful about that. Aquaman versus Peacemaker. Yeah, that is a thing. That I actually didn't think about it till afterward, but that is a thing.
Everybody showed up in this one, right? Like everyone who's ever been in any Fast and the Furious movie. They showed up in this one. That would be a
spoiler.
Okay.
But I can say that it has a lot of people in it.
Yeah.
I mean, the Fast cast is gigantic now, and they keep adding people. Like this one adds Brie Larson, Alan Ritchson, Jason Momoa, of course. I think there was the lady who plays Ratcatcher 2 is in it. Danielle something, I can't remember her name.
Mm-hmm.
But she's also in it.
Yeah, but Charlize Theron's in this one too. She's back again, I think. I saw her in the trailer.
They keep recycling characters. Like it's a giant. It's like bigger than the X-Men team at this point.
Yeah. Fast X.
Mm-hmm.
Fast X Man.
Fast X.2, I guess is the next one. I don't know. X.2, X2, I don't know. Zeddy did a rewatch of Mission Impossible Rogue Nation, Fallout, Man of Steel, and Wonder Woman. Was there like a connection with those, or you just wanted to watch them?
I was going to say, just got a little DC,
I mean, it's a good time,
Mission Impossible. Yeah, no, nothing wrong with that.
Those are 4 great films, I think. No, we won't go into this. Yeah. We won't go into the spoilers.
I can never distinguish the difference between Rogue Nation and the other one. Not Fallout, but the other one.
Ghost Protocol?
Ghost Protocol. I can't tell the difference.
Jeremy Renner.
Well, I can't remember which one's the building one.
Ghost Protocol.
Is that Rogue Nation?
That's Ghost Protocol.
That's Ghost Protocol? Okay.
I think it is.
Those two blend together to me for some reason.
Jeremy Renner's in one.
Yeah. Like one's the building, and then the other one is the water one, where he holds his breath for. Yeah, they break into that something so we can steal something, but it's underwater, and he has to he holds his breath for like 12 minutes or something.
Did Tom Cruise really do that?
Yeah, like in the big circle or whatever, things keep going
around. I vaguely remember this. Yes.
Yeah, I can't remember. I think that's the other one, and there's the plane one. I think the plane one's Rogue Nation.
That's Fallout, isn't it?
I don't think so.
I think Zeddy would know. Zeddy.
Well, that's when he jumps out of the plane, but when he's going up in the plane and holding on the side of it at the very, very start of the movie, I'm pretty sure that's Rogue Nation.
I think it's a bad sign when you can't remember what huge stunt is in which film.
Well, exactly. Like the stunts are so big, but they just kind of blend together after a while. I like Fallout. Fallout's my favorite of all of them so far.
But I like every Mission Impossible movie. I even like the second one.
Mm-hmm.
The John Woo one, I think it's kind of fun. It's different though.
It's got that overly stylized John Woo style. I love it.
Well, yeah, and I think the second one feels more like it was meant to be a James Bond film,
right?
Because he doesn't even have the team in that one. It's just Ethan Hunt versus Doug Ray Scott, almost Wolverine.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah, he was Wolverine until they called him back for reshoots for Mission Impossible 2. He had to drop out, and they scrambled, and they found Hugh Jackman, and the rest is cinematic gold.
History was made.
Yes, thanks Mission Impossible and Tom Cruise.
What's the deal with Mission Impossible screwing reshoots up, eh?
Oh yeah, they screwed up other people too.
Henry Cavill.
Yeah.
Well,
also,
mustache.
Because of scheduling changes, Nicholas Hoult could not be the villain in the newest one too. So.
In Fallout or in Dead Reckoning?
No, whatever the new one is called, Dead Reckoning.
Oh, Dead Reckoning, yeah.
Yeah, he was supposed to be the villain, but scheduling happened and he could not be the villain anymore.
Interesting.
The infamous building stunt is Ghost Protocol. The plane opening is Rogue Nation. Pure spy espionage thriller.
There you go.
Not to be confused with Michael Jackson Thriller.
Definitely not.
Different beast.
Did you watch anything else other than Fast X? Other than Barry? Or was that it?
That was it. I didn't have time.
I think that was it. Okay, so I watched Spider-Verse on this Monday. I went with my son, and my daughter went with a couple of her friends. Went to the movie theater. Quite good. It's a great movie for, and I think that's why it's doing so well. It's a good movie for everyone. Like, my son's 7 years old. I'm much older, but when I was in the theater, it was full of all different kinds of people, and I think that's what's the big selling feature for this Spider-Man, particularly Miles Morales, and the Across the Spider-Verse. He does so many different, or they do so many different things in this movie that it's not just a standard. I don't know. Like, I'm trying to compare it, like, even to No Way Home, where I don't know if No Way Home feels a little bit more bottlenecked to me. You have to be more in tune with Spider-Man to
I think you do.
For No Way Home, but then with Spider-Verse, it seems like it's much more broad. And I don't know if it's because it's the animation style, the action, the writing, the comedy, the humor, even some of the family drama. I think that helps a lot too, is the family aspect to it. Miles and his mom and dad. But I had a great time with it. It was a little bit too long, and the ending was a little anticlimactic for me. But it was friggin' awesome seeing all the Spider-Man. Specifically, there's a Canadian Spider-Man who has a hockey stick and weird little like overly Canadianized spider suit, but still very cool. And I was watching it, I had forgotten that they were making a part 2 to this.
This is
and I had totally forgotten about that. So I kept looking at my watch because it felt like the movie was just going on, and we went on a school night. So my son was getting a little tired by the end. I'm like, oh, man, there's still a bunch to go here. Like, they haven't wrapped up anything, and there's the movie was supposed to end. And I'm like, oh, right, there's a part 2. So the way that it ended, it was a little kind of blah. But I still had a great time with it. It's such an accessible Spider-Man, such an accessible movie. I had my doubts about it too, because I remember watching the first one and I remember the trailer for the very first one where I liked the style of the movie, the art style. But then when the movie got too big with all the multiverse stuff, specifically towards the end of the movie, the first one, when they're in the collider and all that kind of stuff happening, it just felt like, oh man, this is too much. There's too much going on. And in Across the Spider-Verse, it's kind of the same thing, but it's still just a very enjoyable movie if you're a fan of Spider-Man, or if you're not a fan of Spider-Man. I think this is just a very, very good movie to go see. You haven't seen it yet. You're going to see it this week?
Probably not.
Soon, maybe? No?
Soonish. Is Nicolas Cage in
it? No, he's not.
Well, then. We'll see when I see it.
Part two.
Okay. No, I'll get to it when I get a chance. This week, I'm probably seeing Flash again. And we're seeing Elemental.
Oh, yes, Elemental this week, too.
Yeah, it's Elemental and Flash this week, so
yeah.
No Spider-Verse.
Yeah, we're going to go see the Transformers movie on Thursday this week. Going to see Rise of the Beast, and then the week after, probably going to see the Flash, and then I think my son wants to see Elemental as well. I don't really know much about Elemental, though. Is it a sequel to Inside Out?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I just know it's a new Pixar movie, and I've been told that we need to see it. So we're seeing it.
I've been told that it must happen.
Yes, I have been told that the arrangements are being made, and that's cool.
Yeah. See, those are my favorite kinds of things. The arrangements are being made. I'm told where to go, told where to sit. Just go there and enjoy it. Sounds
yes,
good.
That works for me. We'll see Elemental. I'm not really sure what it is, though. I don't think it has anything to do with Inside Out, because Inside Out is getting a proper sequel.
Oh, okay. That makes more sense.
So, yeah, I don't think it is. Unless it's like a spin-off, perhaps.
I just thought it had something to do with it, like the elements and Inside Out is like the inside of the brain. I wasn't sure if the elemental was kind of the same.
I thought it was about like fire, like Captain Planet kind of stuff. Fire, wind, ice.
Yeah, now you're talking.
That's what I thought it was. I don't know. I'm not really sure, but we'll see on Thursday or Friday, I guess.
Nice.
Flash a priority for me though, but we'll see how it works.
Nice. Okay, and the other thing that I watched, aside from The Intern, I had to watch that last night just kind of for fun, but I watched Air, the Matt Damon, Ben Affleck, Michael Jordan, Nike, whatever kind of a movie. And I kept forgetting that it was on Amazon. I don't know why, because it's been on Prime for a couple of weeks now, I think. But I think it was produced by Amazon Studios, but they did a deal where it went to theaters first and then eventually came to Prime.
That's kind of the Amazon thing, yeah.
So I had forgotten about it. What's that?
They did it with another one of his movies too. I think it was it The Way Back or the one about the bar? Might have been the one about the bar.
Isn't that? Oh, The Way Back's the basketball one.
That's the basketball that was really good. The Tender Bar, I think that's what it's called.
Right. I haven't seen that one. Did you see that one?
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm gonna have to check that out. Air, it's good. I don't think it's great though. It's got a great runtime. It's nice and short. Very, the history lesson out of it. It's crazy to think of Nike before what Nike is now. How little. Yeah, what do you say down in America? You say Nike?
Yes. What do you say?
We say Nike up here. Yeah, we say Nike up here.
Okay.
I don't know why. Yeah. But like they were, close to being bankrupt, and no bankable stars, and nobody wanted to wear their stuff, and blah 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 blah. And Converse was the top tier, and Adidas was top tier. But learning about Nike and how they banked and risked everything on Michael Jordan is a cool history lesson if you don't know that kind of thing. It had good acting. I'm not the biggest Matt Damon fan, but he was good in it, and Jason Reitman's in it. Jason Reitman? Ivan Reitman? Which one's? There's too many Reitmans.
They're directors. Are you sure they're in it? Well, one of them has passed away.
The guy who's in Ozark at Arrested Development.
Jason Bateman.
That's it. Thank you, sir.
Different humans.
Jason Bateman's in it. He's very good. Marlon Wayans is in it. Chris Tucker is in it too. So the cast is very good. Even in saying that I'm not the biggest Matt Damon fan. But the story was okay. I don't know. It just didn't. I don't know. I started off just saying like I had something big to say about it, and then it just ended up. And maybe I went into the movie expecting something really, really big. Like Zeddy is a really big fan of this movie. He thinks it's his best movie the year so far for him. That's not it for me. But it's not a bad movie. There's nothing bad about it. But there's something that just didn't grab me about it and hold my attention after it was done. Like it was done, and I put it away, and that's kind of I don't think I'll be revisiting it anytime soon. I think I'd recommend it to somebody. Again, another movie where you don't have to be a basketball fan. You don't have to know who Michael Jordan is. If you don't know who Michael Jordan is. But it's very accessible that way. But it's just kind of okay, kind of good, and carry on, and that's kind of the end of it. I don't know. Not much to say about Air.
That's on my list. I will get to it. I like Matt Damon. I love Ben Affleck, of course. The rest of the cast I'm cool with. Viola Davis is in it. Big fan of Viola Davis. Anything she's like, any performance she does is fantastic. She doesn't miss. I don't really care about the sneakers though. I wear Converse pretty much 90% of the time. Or those like dad sneakers I bought when we went to the theme park.
Oh, you got dad sneakers, eh? White ones? Are they white?
They're gray, thank you.
Okay.
They are. They're good for theme parks.
I do that too. When we went to Montreal a couple of weeks ago, and I knew we were going to be walking, I'm like, "That's it. I'm putting on comfortable shoes. I don't care what it look like. I can't have my legs hurting or my back hurting. There's no way around it."
I hear Forrest Gump's voice in my head. Those look like comfortable shoes.
You got to point at them too. Those look like comfortable shoes. I like the way he points at the shoes.
He's a good guy. Phil says, recommend The Boogeyman, good summer horror flick. I do want to see that. I'm not really big on horror movies in theaters because of the audience, but maybe it won't be as busy with all the other stuff out. So he says, forget Elemental, go see The Little Mermaid. I think Zeddy's got an ulterior motive here. I don't know. I'm just thinking he does.
It's over, Zeddy. It's over.
Cookie says The Boogeyman looks so good. I agree. Airs one of his favorite movies. Matt Damon's monologue, "The Pitch," is the best scene I've seen this year. I don't know. I have seen the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, and there's some good stuff in that. Also, I've seen Renfield. Have you guys seen the?
I was going to say, wait a second, Chris. Where's your Renfield in here?
I went completely blank because I had something, and then I went blank when I was reading it. But yeah, watch Renfield. It's on Peacock.
Please.
Yeah, let's get that a sequel.
Yeah.
Or actually, I want a prequel, but that's irrelevant. What'd you read?
So aside from World Tree, we'll get to. I read Batman 136.
Mm-hmm.
We were both big fans of 135, kind of the multiverse traveling that Bruce went on, which is kind of cool. And an interesting thing, that was issue 900 of Batman, and now they're doing legacy titles right on the covers of their books now. So it says 136, and then underneath it say Legacy, just like Marvel does.
Not confusing at all for people.
No, exactly. So, well, they get at 901 now, so I guess 99 more, and they're going to get that big 1,000 and make it a big spiel. So, 136 was good though. If you're a fan of the depressed and degraded and sad and angry Bruce Wayne,
Yes.
Batman, if you're all about that, then 136 is for you. I think it's taken in a very interesting way about the differences between Batman and Bruce Wayne, which is a good thing, I think. How they are different and how they feel different if Bruce decides to, or if Batman decides to, then he will feel different depending on who he wants to inhabit in that moment, whether it's Batman or Bruce Wayne. There's more of the Batman Zur-En-Arrh stuff, which if you're not the biggest fan of that, I'm more confused about the idea rather than whether I'm a fan or not. But 136, I think, is doing it in a different way. So I like this. I think this is the start of the third arc for Zdarsky's Batman.
Failsafe, whatever that was. I don't know what it was called before.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember.
Yeah, I'm not sure. And then there's this one.
Yeah, a lot of good Bat family moments in 136 as well. So I check it out, Chris. I know we're kind of off again, on again with our Batman reading as of late, but 136 is a pretty good time, I think.
I miss him, so I'll check it out. But I've been reading, well, not this week, but I've been reading older stuff or things I just didn't get to before with Batman. So I haven't abandoned him, of course. Can't do that. I just
haven't abandoned your boy.
No, I just have been reading the newer stuff lately.
Yeah, that's it for me. Other than World Tree, I read some older stuff too, but nothing to write home about. So World Tree number 2. Chris, did you read anything else before we get to World Tree?
No, I meant to. I had Batman on my list, and I wanted to read, and I will before Thursday or Friday. I want to read The Flash Year 1, the Joshua Williamson book. I want to check that out because the only Flash I've read is Flashpoint, and then of course whenever he's in like a Justice League situation.
Sure.
So I'm curious to read more about that character.
Is that the start of? Is his new run starting soon?
Yeah, he does have a new run starting soon. The Jeremy Adams run is ending, and I don't know who the new writer is, but Williamson was the one before Adams, and that's I think one of the things that got Williamson where he is today.
Yeah, where he basically runs DC now.
Yeah,
he's on every big book.
He does a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I'd like to get to that this week.
Cool. All right. Well, let's talk about World Tree number 2 then. We won't spoil it for Cookie and maybe some others haven't read it. But what are your kind of overall thoughts for World Tree number 2 from James Tynion and Company?
Spoiler-free thoughts are that it's not a good issue. It's a little bit different, but it still has some really stuff you don't see coming, I guess.
Perfect. Whoa. That's perfect.
Stuff you don't see coming. It's very cool in that way that it does keep you guessing, and you don't. I don't know. It's very dark also, but this one has some humor in it as well that I did not expect. If I have any kind of problem with it, it's that it doesn't feel like it moves. I don't know if you got that. It doesn't feel like it really does anything in the second issue. It's just a lot of dialogue.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I messaged you after I read it. It shouldn't be, this issue wouldn't be called World Tree to me, it'd be called World Building.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it felt like the story didn't go anywhere, but we got introduced to like 4 new characters. And it's like, whoa, okay, that's where we're going. Like the stuff with the, you know, the naked creepy lady, that stuff was still there. What's that?
I think her name is Fear.
Yeah, I wasn't sure how to pronounce it when it's up on the page there, but that makes sense.
Yeah, I think that's like
that it goes a little bit, goes to a very small place very quickly by the end. But I would agree with you that it didn't feel like we were as, you know, rushed into it maybe as we were maybe in that first issue, where it felt like more stuff happened. But I think it's just, you know, they're just building out the world a little bit more. In a sense.
Like, it can't have like a lot of stuff in every issue, because then it would be 3 issues long. And I think this is meant to be a little bit longer.
Yeah.
So I get it. And I don't mind it. It's just coming off the first issue, I expected the pace to be quicker. But it's not. And that's fine. I mean, you get some interesting stuff thrown at us here. And the visuals are, again, interesting. I also like the switch in the art during some portions of it. That was a cool choice. So yeah, still 2 for 2 for me with World Tree.
Yeah, you mentioned some of the humor in it. I think it's got some very humorous dialogue in it. I think there's a pair of cops as they're walking into the police station or something, and the one guy's talking about some very strange things.
And you don't know where it's like. I don't know
why it's even happening.
Right. Yeah. It's like, what is the point of this? But then once it comes out, like, oh, he's just one of those kind of people.
Yeah, he is.
But yeah, World Tree is good. I'm really enjoying it.
I am too. It's definitely one that I'm going to try and read as soon as it comes out. I think I missed it. It came out 2 weeks ago, I think, right?
Yeah, I think we both missed it, but we read the first one so much earlier than the release, I think.
Right.
I think we both forgot, like, oh, this is soon.
Yeah. So spoiler-free thoughts on World Tree number 2. I'm still enjoying it very much so. I do hope that it keeps moving forward, though, and we're not stuck in kind of a limbo spot, but we'll see how that goes with number 3 in another month or so.
Yeah, is Night Fever out this week? Is that what's called, Night Fever?
I saw a whole bunch of stuff for it on my timeline.
I did too, and I want to check it out.
Just check here.
Oh, I remember what else I watched. I did watch something else. I don't know how I forgot. I watched the Curious Case of Natalia Grace. I don't know why that just exited my brain. It's been a long couple of days. I helped my brother and my mother move for the last 3 days into different locations.
Son of a bitch.
I'm not sure how I'm awake right now, but I did watch The Curious Case of Natalia Grace.
And?
Do you know what it is? Like, are you
no, not really. Like, you kind of mentioned it briefly last week, and in the comments, I think Phil and maybe Cookie had both watched it.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I know Cookie did. So you know what the movie Orphan is, right?
Yes.
Okay, so it's kind of that, but it's real life. This couple adopts a little person, and they believe she, I think at the time, was 4 or 5 years old. I can't remember the details. And they started to claim that she was not a child, that she was actually an adult for various reasons, and that she was a sociopath and all this other stuff. And it's real life, so it's not a spoiler. They eventually they deemed that she was an adult, so they stuck her in an apartment by herself to live. And the documentary covers all of that and the aftermath of it, and it was just so interesting. And it's like a story where
bad things happen.
Yeah, a lot of bad things happen. Yes. Oh. It's just really engrossing because you don't know what's actually happening. You don't know who to believe, and by the end of it, you know, you can make a solid judgment on what you think it is or what you think was the real story. And you may be right, you may be wrong, because there's too many sides to it. There is one thing that they do confirm, which that would be a spoiler, so I won't. But there's one thing they do confirm, and that's, I think you can't question it. But the other stuff, as far as like the parents and their treatment of her, that's where things get iffy. Like I can tell you, I can't stand the father. I think he seems like a horrible person. But they never talk to the mom, which is weird. The father does this full thing. He's like being interviewed throughout the entire doc. The mom is not. It's weird. And they never really interviewed the girl either, the kid. But she has, I found out she has her own series coming sometime this year where she tells her side.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, so as much as I complained about the Discovery and HBO Max merger, I get this from it. So maybe
son of a bitch.
Right, son of a bitch, I'm gonna keep watching this. Don't tell anybody. Because the most wild doc I've seen in a while. Yeah, I agree. I don't even watch documentaries very often, but I love the movie Orphan. So I was like, there's a real version of this, and yeah.
The question about documentaries, I was a clip popped up on my timeline today of a Netflix film, the Thai cave rescue, from a couple years ago. It's a movie. The clip that I was talking about. It's about a team, a soccer team of 13 boys and the coach get trapped in a cave in Thailand, and they have to go underwater to get them. There was a movie that came out a little while ago called 13 Lives.
Oh yeah,
by Ron Howard. Anyway, so there's a documentary of the events, and then there's 2 movies of it as well. And you say you're not, somebody who watches documentaries all the time, but are you one to, if there's a movie and a documentary, to watch both, or would you obviously rather just pick the regular movie and carry on with that?
Yeah, I'd rather watch the movie. I'd rather watch for some reason documentaries. Like I will watch some stuff, but it's gotta be it's like very specific things. Generally, I don't like documentaries. I don't even like a Batman documentary. I even have trouble sitting through those.
Really?
I don't know what. Yeah, I don't know what it is. I'm just not really into documentaries. It depends on the subject matter. No, I've also watched like a ton of like horror ones too. So maybe it's like horror ones or things like investigative stuff.
Right. And now you and Cookie are lost on Max with your documentary.
Yeah. So another glorious thing about this is all the horror shit from Discovery's on there. I realize that. Like I don't watch Ghost Hunters because I think it's just not for me. I feel like they're trying to force you to believe that they're seeing and hearing things. Have you ever watched that show?
Just Ghost Hunters?
Yeah.
And I think I've seen an episode of it. Yeah.
Dragons one. So they set up the thing to record audio, and they'll get this audio that just sounds like paper being like scratched or something, and they'll say, "Do you hear it?" And then you start to hear whatever they said that they're asking you.
That's right.
Even though it just sounds like paper being like balled up. So
that's a crazy thing. The
Ghost Hunters is terrible. I agree.
That's an interesting thing about the senses, though. I recently, for my work, I actually went to it's called a beer tasting school. So if you drink a beer and you're supposed to smell it, and then you're supposed to describe what it tastes like, I may say, "Oh, I don't really know what this is," and then the teacher will say, "Well, do you taste, pineapple or bread or anything like that?" Then there's something in your head that thinks, "Oh, yeah, that's right, I do taste that." So in that sense of the other thing where you're talking about, "Oh, I don't hear anything," and then somebody tells you, "Oh, do you hear that? They just said hello." "Oh, yeah, I guess I did hear that." So like that's a weird sensory thing that your brain needs to be told what to think or feel sometimes. And with those kind of things like Ghost Hunters, or even if you're like into UFO documentaries or whatever, where
I like
there's a blurry line coming across the screen, and oh no, that's a UFO. You can see it right there. It's a weird thing our senses are.
They're basically hearing this. Did you hear
Wait,
that?
what did he say? What did he say?
I want a sandwich. Yeah, I heard it. It's weird.
All right, so that was I think that's everything that we read and we watched this week, Chris.
I wanted to bring this up. Zeddy recommends this movie Blackberry. I've been hearing about it, and I think I want to watch this. Do you have any interest in it?
I should have interest in it because it's very Canadiana. Blackberry's created by a gentleman from Hamilton, Ontario. He tried to buy a hockey team, tried to buy the Pittsburgh Penguins back in the day. It's very very Canadiana. So yeah, I should. It's got Jay Baruchel in it. He's kind of a cool guy for me, anyways. But I don't know. I'll get to it.
Everybody should watch Ghost Hunters and just enjoy the sounds.
Report back next week what you heard.
It's like ASMR or something. I think I want to watch Blackberry. I need to maybe track that down. Also, I threw it up earlier, but I don't know if you want to go to Zeddy's wedding next year, but that could be fun. We could have like a GatherCon afterward.
I'll hope that my invitation gets lost in the mail.
Okay. Understandable.
All right, Chris, last week we talked about the season finales of Succession. We talked about one half of the season finale of Ted Lasso, and we didn't talk about the season finale of Barry. So for part 2 of our discussion, we're not going to talk about Succession unless you want to. But I want to kind of come back around on Ted Lasso, and then I want to get into the Barry one as well. So last week I hadn't seen the Ted Lasso series finale, and you had. You, if I remember correctly, liked it, but thought it was a little jumbled, a little
messy.
A little messy was your phrase, and I agree with everything that you said. I messaged you, I think, after I watched it, or maybe the day after, where there's just so much confusion that I had. We'll do full spoilers for the Ted Lasso series finale, and we'll do full spoilers for the Barry season finale as well, just for anybody who's listening or watching right now. But I didn't like, especially in this one, the liberties that were taken with the story, where we're just supposed to accept something that's happened off screen. It's happened for the previous 3 weeks or the 3 episodes of Lasso before this season and series finale, but then this one again, where the episode starts with Ted and Rebecca and Beard and his girlfriend all in this weird, I don't know what it was. I still don't know what it was. What were they all doing there? Did they have a foursome? I don't know. It's all a very confusing thing that happened. And then just like Nate being integrated back into the team with no real discussion. Like, I would have loved to seen some kind of discussion. We get to see a reconciliation between Ted and Nate. The stuff with Rupert, in the end, it worked out to be good, but the couple episodes we saw before that, they felt like they were going in a completely different way. So messy, 100%. I couldn't agree more with all the messy, but that doesn't change the fact that the show is still a beautiful, beautiful show. It's just so good. The small moments, the interactions between two characters, even Beard's going home, or Beard and Ted are going home, and Beard decides he doesn't want to go, and they're talking to each other. And Beard says, I don't want you, I think he says, I don't want you to be mad at me, or I don't want to let you down or something. Just the small moments and the believe sign, incredible stuff. And all the mini endings for everyone, for Roy and Beard and Nate, the small wedding scene. There's still so much good, but I don't know if they needed another season or they needed a couple more episodes. It's just, I wish it wasn't messy though. I wish I didn't have to say, oh, that doesn't feel right, but oh, this is so freaking great over here. I don't know. Messy is the right word, Chris, but it's just, I wish it wasn't messy. I wish it all blended together coherently in a nice little bow.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I don't know if you could hear the siren in the background, so I had.
Are you okay? Is everything all right? Do you need to get to a bunker
technically,
somewhere?
It's just raining really bad, and hail is coming, so I think the siren's going off. It's fine.
Okay, well, if you see Kevin Costner and he's holding his hand out telling you to stop, just let me know, okay?
We're good. I think they it's fine. But anyway, I think the messy, it still stands, but a friend of ours, Grabs, I believe it was Grabs, brought up a good point about the thing with Rupert, is that they didn't show us that to make us think he's a good guy. I think they showed us that for us to see why Rebecca liked him to begin with. So It wasn't so much, oh, he's good. It was just, he has moments. Mm-hmm. But I agree. I do agree with everything. I still stand by it's messy, especially with the Nate thing. I really wanted to see that first time he walks back into the office, and and all that stuff. But we didn't.
Well, yeah, I agree, and like Nate's been a bone of contention for people for ever since the middle of season 2 almost, where he started to do his heel turn, where most people didn't buy it, and then especially by the end of season 2, where people really didn't buy it. I didn't have a problem with it. I didn't have a problem with Nate for the first couple episodes of season 3, but it wasn't until his dealings with Rupert where he eventually left. The soccer club and went on to his own thing with his girlfriend in the restaurant, and obviously coming back to AFC Richmond. It's weird that this was the longest season with the longest episodes, but everything still felt really rushed and not put together all the way. It's a very, very strange thing. Like if it was compounded to be shorter episodes and a shorter season, I would have understood it more. But they tried to do too much, and then by the end of it, they got in their own way with trying to wrap everything up and trying to make it all make sense.
And again, it's even stranger that the series was meticulously planned out. They knew what they were doing, and this is still the way it finishes. Again, not that it's bad; it's just
not bad. Yeah.
Did they need another couple episodes and they couldn't get them? What happened? Or is this just the way they wanted? I don't know. Either way, I still love it.
Yeah, same. I don't really like. It was funny, we were talking about Succession last week. I didn't agree with the way Shiv's ending was. I don't really like Ted's ending here either.
Really?
It felt very anticlimactic to me, and like he didn't show up to Beard's wedding. Like, man, he's your best mate.
So the actor who plays Beard responded to why.
Oh,
and he explained that the type of friends Ted and Beard are, they don't always need to be around each other. They can go without doing things together. And specifically, they didn't want to show Ted back in England before they show him back in America.
That's fair.
That is the actual reason they didn't do it. Those two things.
Fair.
But still, it would have been nice to see him. I agree.
Yeah.
But at least him, I was expecting him to be the one holding the camera.
Something, yeah.
Like you'd see him pop his face in front of it. Look at this, guys.
Yeah, so as messy as season 3 was on the whole, it's still one of my favorite television shows ever that I've ever seen. It's a TV show that I don't think we'll ever see this type of show again. That won't feel right. Like another show like this that is more is inspirational and the comedy and the optimism. I think if they was done with another show, it might feel wrong in a certain way. But like this show, and even in season 3, with as messy it is, has some of the best moments of TV that I've seen, and made me feel the best when I'm watching it. Like with all the shows that we've talked about and we watch all the time, Chris, we watch a lot of stuff where people die and people do bad things to each other. This is a show where, episode after episode, good people do good things to good people.
There are no hell demons.
There's no hell demons. There's no, no fungified zombies. There's no backstabbing brothers and sisters. It's just good people doing nice things and saying nice things and talking in a nice way. And it just
being good people.
Yeah, being good people. And like I you know what I started saying? I started telling people, even at my work, in work emails or when I'm talking to them in person, I started saying, I appreciate you. Just those lines. I appreciate you. That's something Ted says. He just, when he got that newspaper when he's getting ready to board his flight, he says, I appreciate you, to the guy who's selling him his newspaper. I started saying that now because I should appreciate more people. I should appreciate everyone in my life. And like, I know it's a TV show and that's stupid and it's cheesy, but like there hasn't been a show that's made me feel like this. That made me feel good, because we watch a lot of shows as good as they are, but they don't make you feel very good.
Full of horrible people.
Yeah, exactly. Full of horrible people or good people. Like, and we're talking about The Last of Us, good people who just die. Like in a horrible way.
A lot of death. Children, adults, a lot of death. I don't know about that one.
Yeah. So it's a very special show. A very, very special show. And I'll think about this show. And I think it'll be a show that I'll watch often. It'll be one of those shows where you can just watch an episode. You don't have to watch a whole season. Just, I'm going to watch this episode. And this is a funny one, and the Diamond Dogs are funny in this episode, or this is the episode where Roy ties a red string to everyone's penises and they fall over the pitch. Like that's the kind of thing that that's another thing that's happens very often, where you can watch one episode of something.
Yeah, it's not
feel a certain way. So very, very incredible show.
I'm looking forward to revisiting it now that it's over. Just doing like one straight watch through. Does anyone wants to know when we're going to watch Batman Beyond together from the infamous box set? The problem with that would be, out of the three of us, I don't really like Batman Beyond.
Yeah. It's not the most well liked of the of the Batman medium.
It's not really something I've tried. Some of the episodes Eddie has recommended. I've liked those, but then whenever I've tried to just watch it, like just random episodes or in order, it's just not.
Yeah, I get you.
Anyway, the Sirens of Style. That's nice.
Oh yeah, that's good. You're no longer in imminent danger.
Yeah, I was checking my phone. We're good.
I was waiting
for Texas.
Yeah, I was waiting for you. Just Texas.
Just Texas things. We're fine.
All right, so that's our Bo put on Ted Lasso series finale. Chris, let's talk about Barry, the season and series finale. How much did you have to watch before catching up? Because I know I think we both watched the first two episodes together, and then I think you fell behind and I fell behind a little bit, and then I got caught up, and then you finally got caught up now. So give me your Barry thoughts here.
I am very disappointed. I really like the majority of the show. I was very into I've been to watch the first two seasons. I really, really liked it a lot. I bought into the characters. The act, everything was just great. Then this season happened. It's like, okay, there's a lot not working for me. The time jump was just not my thing. The characters didn't feel like themselves to me. I didn't get why they were where they were. I don't even understand how old John is supposed to be. It's an 8-year gap, but that's not an 8-year-old kid.
Yeah, it looks like he's 10 or 11 or something.
That's like almost like a teen. So I didn't really understand that. Gene going into hiding for the 8 years was odd. And then when they come back and it's just this shit show, the way Hank progressed without Cristobal, I just didn't like anything about the time jump stuff. It just wasn't for me. And then in the finale itself, again, full spoilers if you guys haven't earmuffed already, but I don't like that Gene takes the fall for everything that he didn't do and the one thing he did do.
That's right.
I didn't like that at all. And the movie thing was something. I guess that was a commentary on the way the world works, and that's fine.
That's right. Yeah.
If we knew if the actual real ending was better, that would have been hilarious. The hilarious satire. But the way it actually ends just doesn't hit. I think. Maybe I'm alone on that because people seem to like it. I don't know.
Well, the people we've tried to get to watch it, they can't even make it past the first season, the first couple episodes. So yeah. I don't think you're alone in that feeling, in that sentiment, because I feel the same way about the time jump, specifically that first episode after the time jump, where we get to see Sally going to the restaurant and she's fooling around with guys in the bathroom, and then that episode ends with I'm. Barry saying, "Oh, I have to go kill Gene Cousineau," and I just went to hit my head. I'm like, "What?" I don't even understand the 8-year jump. I don't see the point of it. Like, why is it 8 years? Maybe, like you're saying, because of the kid. But yeah, so the time jump aside, which I don't overly like. I liked everything about this season, though. I thought those first couple episodes with Barry in prison were incredible. Specifically that the final episode before he breaks out with Fred Armisen and the guy from the ceiling with a sniper rifle shooting things, and the Fuchs, the Raven, him and Barry going back and forth between who their allegiance lies with, and same thing with Hank, who his allegiance lie with. And then all I kept thinking about for those last couple of episodes was the way that Bill Hader directs his action scenes, specifically the one where Fuchs and his family and his crew are in the mansion, and we get a scene of them, and then all of a sudden Hank runs in with his buddy, and they got like a grenade launcher on a tripod, and they shoot, and they completely miss the house. And then all of a sudden, gunfire is raining down upon them, and we get a tracking shot of Hank and his buddy are in the car, and they go driving, and Hank goes running away, and his buddy gets shot up in this huge gunfight in the car. And then also in the season finale, where there's the gunfight in the museum, Cristobal's museum or whatever, and one guy falls down and he throws a grenade, and he throws a grenade up in the air, and it bounces off the wall, and it just blows all these guys up. I just love Bill Hader's action comedy directing. And I compare it to I think it's the season 2 action scene with the motorcycles where they're on the highway.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just like, I really dig that style. I don't even know what kind of style it is. I think it's action comedy where you just, he's showing off like the idiocracies and how stupid people are, especially Hank, how idiot he is. But how like over the top he is with him and Cristobal, and the name of the museums, like the Krista Hank or the
No Ball.
Yeah.
The answer is no Ball.
So I agree with you about the time jump, but everything about it I really enjoyed. I like the social commentary. Pretty much the entirety of this series is the social commentary on war and action or guns and all that kind of stuff. I thought it was funny that Barry's kid, Jonathan, was that kid from It. I can't remember his name.
Yeah, it took me a while to remember where I'd seen that kid from.
Yeah. I like the mullet. Yeah, I love the mullet too. So funny. I actually like where Sally went by the end of it. And I know Ian, if he was watching, he's not the biggest fan of Sally. I think a lot of people aren't the biggest fan of Sally. They find her quite annoying, and shit, yeah, she's annoying. But I like her ending. 100%. I think that's the point. The season finale, the episode is called Wow. And I like Barry, before he gets, again, full spoiler, before he meets his demise, he just says, "Oh, wow." and that's the end of Barry. So I love the inside humor of the show. I like the action of the humor. I think the story for season 3 specifically just went in a whole bunch of different places. And I think that was their idea. Like, I'm thinking about the time jump. Like, they didn't want to tell a straight line story. They wanted to tell a story that just kind of went all over the place and really took chances, because it took a lot of chances, even for this show with the first 2 seasons. I think season 3 is like, it takes some really big swings, and I understand that they don't work for a lot of people. But aside from the time jump and the episode after the time jump, I really enjoyed the season finale. I really, really did.
Yeah, I did.
That's fine. It's funny about that question I asked at the start of the episode, or started us talking about this idea about being in the real world. And Robert De Niro is talking about Ocean's 11 and The Intern, and then the idea about Warner Brothers and making this movie. And I thought that was pretty funny.
I like that. There are things I did like. That was one of the things. I thought that was a fun in-universe kind of thing. The fact that was it Sally's co-star that got the TV show?
Oh yeah, Sally was her acting coach.
Oh, that's what it is. Okay. Well, yeah. No. Her name was Natalie. Remember the one she has the rant with in the elevator?
I don't remember now.
Well, either way, it was cool to see the world progressed, and they did not. I like that aspect of it. But overall, yeah, it didn't hit. I also thought like Hank's ending was really anticlimactic. Like that was it. One thing I think I loved about it, though, and this is probably my favorite moment of the finale, is the moment that Barry and Fuchs share when he returns John to him. I did like that. It kind of makes me wonder, was that Fuchs' plan?
I thought that too. Yeah.
It seemed like that was the idea. Get me the kid and I'm going to save him. Because even when the shooting starts, he throws his body on. I thought it was Sally because it happened so quick. Yeah. And there was that's Fuchs for the Raven is now for some.
I was confused about his girlfriend in it, where he goes to the coffee shop to see. He think this girl's attractive, and that's the first time he's ever seen her, and then he takes her home, or is this like a pen pal situation? I didn't understand who this woman
he
was.
meets her for the first time. Yeah.
He looks at her as she's making his coffee, and then all of a sudden he's taking her home, and then he's got her daughter there. And the scene where they're talking about, I think they just killed a whole bunch of people.
Yeah, that was funny.
And they're trying. They got the mom and the daughter, and they look scared, and they're trying to. All these bad guys are trying to talk about ways they can make it less scary for them. It's like, oh no, we don't have to be so loud, or we can take them out of the house, or they can watch a movie and just turn the movie up really loud. Or just,
I think they talk about Fast and Furious specifically.
That's right.
Yeah, that's funny.
Like, so those moments for me are just it, and it just that outweighs the stuff that I didn't like about it.
That's fair. I wish I liked
made me
it.
think of the music thing. Reminded me about the Sound of Music bit from the finale of Ted Lasso.
Okay.
where they're all singing and dancing. I was like, oh man, that's beautiful.
I didn't know that was from the Sound of Music.
Yes, I didn't either. I was watching it, and my wife's like, "That's the Sound of Music." I'm like, "No, I'd never seen it." So,
yeah,
I just thought it was funny, and all the people in the audience, all the fans and stuff watching it too, and standing up and clapping. Anyways, get back to Ted Lasso. We talk about the show all the time.
Zeddy asked, "Would Warner Bros. Really finance that biopic?" That's the better question. I think they would, especially given the circumstance that's created in the show where Barry was wronged.
That's right, yeah.
Which doesn't sit well with me. But.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Barry's the hero.
Yeah,
the good guy.
No.
All right, so that's going to be our final thoughts on Ted Lasso and Barry. Chris, anything else you want to talk about before we get out of here?
No.
You've seen The Flash this week? Seen it on Thursday night or
Thursday or Friday? It depends on what day we see the Pixar thing.
Mm-hmm.
So one of those, and I'm going to try to get John Wick in too at some point this week.
Nice.
Try is the key word. How about you? You're not going to see Flash this week, so you're going to see it next week?
Yeah, I'm going to see it next week, hopefully on Monday. I'm going to see Transformers this Thursday. And I'm going to watch 13 Lives after this. I want to know more about this Thai rescue cave movie or whatever. See how they get those kids. I'm not mistaken,
it has John Krasinski in it, right?
No, it's got Colin Farrell, Viggo Mortensen.
I think the John Krasinski movie is 13 Days, perhaps.
13th Warrior with Antonio Banderas?
No. No, not that.
13 Days. I don't know.
I think that's what it's called. I don't know. 13 something. There's only 13 Ghosts, too.
Yeah, I think so. 13, man. Wasn't that movie with Jim Carrey called 13? That number movie?
I thought that was 9. I don't know. But number 23, that's what it's called.
The number 23.
Yeah, number 23.
It had a 3 in it.
Yeah. Right. And 9 is the animated thing with the little
weird little Tim
Burton looking creatures.
That's right. All right, Chris, where can people find you?
You guys can follow me on Twitter at thatchris70. I'd love it if you guys would also follow the show that I co-host with my buddies Phil Walsh and Anthony Caruso over at DCU Pod on I just went blank. The rain just trying DC Unlimited Pod. I'm sorry, on Twitter. As always, I'd love it if you'd follow this show too at G of the Geeks.
You can follow me on Twitter at EmmettDavis7. Gathering of the Geeks is available on YouTube. And wherever you get your podcast, just search Gathering of the Geeks and you will find us. And saying all that, I want to thank Eric, Zeddy, Cookie, Phil. I think that was it. Somebody else joined. I thought somebody else did. Maybe not. Nope. Eric, Phil, Zeddy, and Cookie. Thanks so much. And Ian, thanks for watching on this fine Sunday and Monday. And we'll see you guys next week. And saying all that, for Chris and I'm Emmet, and we gather on Sundays.
We might see you next week because it's Father's Day. We'll see how it shakes out.
Oh, right.
Yes, we'll see. Bye, guys.